I was making these 7 mistakes until one of my channels blew up and got videos like this and this with over 1 million views. I know it's not a lot, but after uploading over 600 long form videos, I always share the mistakes that I made that I have not heard anyone talk about. And I just started this new channel after doing over $5 million, hiring 50 people. And if there's only one thing you take away from this video, may it be number 6. Just skip to that part and you'll understand why. Anyways, the first mistake that I made was believing that an okay video, really well executed, edited, beats a great ID, okay done, with okay editing or no editing. What do I mean with this? Well, the truth that I found after spending less than 90 minutes on this video and many others, this video now sits at almost 1.2 million views. Again, I only spent 90 minutes on that one. And after getting many more results like that, while spending very little time on the video itself, I've just learned that a great ID, poorly executed, not so well edited or not edited at all, because for that video, many others of mine, there was only silence cutting. Those videos just had great IDs, and that beats an okay ID that was really well edited, which I have also tried a lot. So if I were to give advice, at least to my younger self, not to you, but just my younger self, who started in 2012 with YouTube videos, or simply upload faster by spending less time on, for example, the editing, so you would find those winner IDs quicker, faster. And one way how you can spend less time on the production process is by downloading these free YouTube thumbnail templates. So you can create thumbnails like this in minutes. Again, all for free. I will leave a link in the comments. Talking about comments, I've also learned that your comment to view ratio matters. It matters more than I thought. To prove this, I'm going to leave a pinned comment below where 1, you can subscribe to each other, so if you like that channel, you can grow together this year. And 2, so you take part in my experiment to see how impactful your comment to view ratio actually is. Because we both know that it matters, right? It's just how much does it impact algorithm to push your video. And so far, I have found that an average video with an okay click-through rate and an okay average view duration can get 5 to even 10 times more views if it has a very high and a very outlier comment to view ratio. That's just been my experience so far, which is limited, but I do think that it's likely because people get notified, right? You get notified, as you can see over here, when someone responds to their comment. And of course, then they return to the channel to either read or comment or reply to the comment, which then increases average view duration because they return to the video again and they watch a part of it. They usually don't click on pause, and even then I do think YouTube counts that as time spent on a video, which they definitely measure. So leave a comment below, look at the comment to view ratio on this video if you're interested, and let's help each other grow. Which brings me to mistake number 3, which was that I didn't prime my channel. And if you don't know what priming is, let me explain it, because I did a 6-month experiment. In total, over that period, over 6 months, I got over 600,000 long form views, and I uploaded 311 long form videos and found out the following. And this is just one of the results, where the exact same video uploaded on a small but primed channel can get 10 times more views than a larger channel which was not primed. And here's one of the results. This video, same video, almost the same, like 99% the same. With 389 subscribers, over there it was uploaded and it got only 170 views. The same video uploaded on a prime channel with only 3 subscribers got more than 1,000 views. Again, that is a almost 10 times difference. Where there was nothing else, there was very little difference in the video. And here's another example where the same video got 36 views on the bigger channel, but 500 views on the small channel. I got many more results that showed, at least me, that priming my channel is important. Now, what is priming? Well, very simply explained, it's making sure that you keep your channel as niched as possible. I'm not saying you should niche, I'm saying your channel should be niched if you care about more views while making the same videos as you currently are. So to be even more clear, create a new channel for every niche if you like to make videos about different topics or different subtopics. So a good example of a prime channel is one where you upload videos only talking about Tesla stock for investors, but not a channel where you upload videos about Tesla stock, but then also about Elon Musk and AI and Apple stock. I'm not saying that is bad, that is just less primed. So videos about Apple stock will perform less good on that channel if a lot of the subscribers came from videos about Tesla stock or Elon Musk, right? Again, this is not my ID, this is just what I found from the data, from my experiment. Also, that being said, there are no rules. What I'm just trying to say, that it is about the understanding that the more niched videos you upload, the more specific your subscribers will be. And exactly that seems to be important for the algorithm when you upload a new video, because it shows your videos, of course, to a percentage percentage of your subscribers. And of course, if 100 people subscribe to you after watching Tesla stock investment advice videos, and your next video is once again about an update video on Tesla stock investment advice, of course, those 100 people that YouTube shows the video to that are in your subscriber base, they're more likely to click and watch, which leads to higher click-through rate, and you get the deal, right? Which gives primed channels an advantage. And that advantage, again, I've seen that on certain videos being 5 to 10 times more views. Even though the niche of both channels are very similar, I've also seen it being a very little difference. But to me, it is worth creating more accounts, more YouTube channels that are more specific audiences, so that I'm also not restricted on what I create. If I care about sharing something that I found to be true on a given day, I don't want to hurt my current channel. And of course, I also want it to reach the most serious people in that space. And again, priming helps with that. So that is something that I would say to my younger self. Create more channels and uploads more specifically on each one. And this brings me to another mistake, which is the stupid details fallacy. What is this? Well, there are things that matter, right? And there are things that don't matter. To be more precise, some video details, like your title, they have much more impact than your video file name. And it is a waste of time to think about, spend energy trying to optimize details like your file name and researching about that. Even having a single thought about, well, how should I rename my file that I upload on YouTube? Because it may impact how many views it gets. What I have found is that videos don't go viral because of your file name or your location settings or even your tags. They go viral despite of them. So my advice to my younger self would be to focus more on the 5 big things. Either spend more time on ID research, thumbnails, your title, your intro, and video length. So far I have found those 5 things to be most impactful for me. But don't believe me, just find out yourself what is most impactful for you. Because of course the script after the intro matters. And yes, the editing matters also. But both of those things are things that I prefer to improve after increasing my baseline views on my channels. Because once you go viral, you go from 500 subscribers to 10,000 subscribers, and your baseline views can go from 200 views per video to maybe 5,000 views per video. And of course, then you have both more AdSense to improve your editing, right? You can hire a more expensive editor or even an editor at all. But then you also have more impact area and data to test with. You have more statistical significance, as they call that. And talking about data and experimenting, I made a free Google Sheet with over 80 free tools that I use in my business in making my videos, with tools like this one, which you probably know already, but then also this one for thumbnails, which I use weekly, and then this one which helps me find better video ideas. Again, all of those tools are free, no affiliated. And this brings me to the short form tsunami system. Well, what is this special name? What is this system? Well, let me show you on my laptop. Alright, so what is this system? Well, know that before I continue, that everything that I will show you next, like my Google Sheet, the SOP that I've created for my employee, automated way to get all of your social media analytics, or almost automated way, that all of that you can get for free, even though I normally sell it for $99. So what is this system? Well, it's basically something that is completely ready to delegate to your employee, which I have done to someone in my team, which guarantees me over 100,000 views in less than 10 hours a week. And that's not time that I spend, but of course time that my employee spends on this system. Now this is bare minimum, because what is it? Well, it is not something new. It's not that I've invented something new here. It's basically clipping things from my long form videos into short form, and we then post those in batches across 6 different social media platforms. As you can see, this happens with a tool that I will show you later. All the captions look very good, and this is very low effort. The editing tools this tool has it's awesome. It's really easy. But again, this is not something new. As you can see in here, Imagazzi has been doing this long time ago. I believe 1.5 years ago already he started it. We also have Daniel Dalen doing this, fellow Dutch guy. I should say Daniel Dalen, but I'm sure you don't like my Dutch accent. But you also have guys like Michael Sartain, if I even speak out his name correctly. And this is something that I came across for the first time from Logan Forsyth, who has a company, an agency, who guarantees 1 billion views to clients that they work with. And of course, as you can see, if you are larger, if you're more well known, known, this system, you can get a lot more views, as you can see over here. Because why is this so interesting? Well, because it guarantees me views. And there are a few things in this world that are given. But how is this so? Well, because YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, they guarantee views on these short form videos to test it out in their algorithm and to show you my results so far. By the way, I will go over all of the costs / time it takes if you're going to do this yourself. In my case, I've delegated it, one of my team members, and I will show you all of the costs later behind this. But first, as you can see on YouTube Shorts, for me, for my secondary account where I upload these clips to, currently has an average of around 400 views per batch for these YouTube Shorts that are guaranteed every time you upload. Not every time, but on average, right? Because sometimes they only push it out to 80 people, but this is rare. Usually it's around 500, which you can see from your own YouTube Shorts if you upload them already. For Instagram, it's around these. For TikTok, we have around 250. And then Facebook is very low for me. I have a very new page. But we also upload on Snapchat, which is around 100 views. And then you also have Pinterest, which I don't recommend. Same for Facebook. At least I recommend you to try it. But for us, those are very little. Again, I've spent a lot of time on the SOPs for my employee, all of the details when it comes to how to create a caption that I'm okay with, that I would post, but also how to make sure that the captions look good, that are fonts that I like, right? That look good, that look professional, but also especially like how to make this very efficient, because as you can see, it's more about flooding the algorithm. That's why I called it the tsunami short system, with a lot of posts, so you can see and find out which are the more interesting things to create more about, which of course, the more data you get, the more interesting it becomes, because as you can see, Imagazzi got 9.4 million views on this short, which took him very little time, by the way. He even mentioned this recently. It took him only 2 hours per month to create basically the long form videos for these, because he basically sits down with 1 or 2 people per month, in this case his assistant, and just talks about stuff. Of course, they prepare some questions and stuff, but you get the point. Anyways, I digress. Who is this for? Who is this best for? Well, for creators with a personal brand like Imagazzi, but also smaller creators with a personal brand, even creators like me with a very small personal brand. I think it's worth trying it out and to see what elements you want to keep, because there probably are parts like YouTube Shorts I showed you, there is a guarantee for at least 400 or 500 views per short. Now, is that a lot? Will that bring tangible results? Well, you can measure that, right? You can start to use UTM links on those channels. You can, because they get used a lot. I've been using them and a lot of people use those. They click on them. And you can see how many people go to long form, what your long form viewers. And of course, if you have a high ticket product or even mid/low ticket product, it could be worth it if you have a small personal brand. But for large personal brands, if you're already known, like Denko, for example, of course, it's all about focus. But when you copy paste my system, which is basically the SOP and everything ready, the Google Sheet, the way to get the analytics, you can see very automated way which things are worth keep doing, which posts perform the best by the views it gets. Then it is almost, I think, stupid to not at least try starting to use a system like this for guys like Denko and even smaller creators. But at least we'll have one employee, right? It's kind of important, unless you fall into category 3, which I will show you in a little bit. You can easily get 100 million views short form impressions and turn those into long form viewers. It's just about how well known are you already and how much resources are you willing to put into it. Because of course, I only use 10 hours per week for my employee. Like my employee only uses 10 hours a week for this, but I can hire a lot of people to work on this, right? And so can you. It's just, is it worth it? And to find that out, I would recommend starting slow. And here are some examples. As you can see, Michael Sartain, you probably don't know him. This is just one of his batch accounts, which I will show you in a little bit how that works, or at least how I do it. As you can see, it has very little followers. Yeah, you see there's a guaranteed amount of views each time, which of course is an average again, because it's not always 200 views at minimum or always 500, but there's an average that is always reached each month, which is the key that I'm trying to explain here. And here you see my own channels. As you can see, this is just started, new channel, only 2 subscribers. These were just uploaded when I took this screenshot, but as you can see in here, these were already died out in the algorithm. They didn't get much more views. As you can see, roughly 400, 500 views, 600 views per short. And you see it in here as well. There's another sub account of mine, 7 subscribers only. You can see in here. And now maybe when you see these views, like, Jordan, is that really worth it? Well, first of all, I'm not spending time on this anymore. But then you may ask, well, is it worth your employees' time? Because those are costs. I will show you in a little bit why it makes sense and why it may not make sense for you, but also why it could make sense. All the total costs when it comes to this system. But who's this system also for? Can also work for agency owners. who want a plug-and-play system to guarantee clients, for example, in Logan's case, 1 billion views per month. And of course, this guarantee depends again on the client and their fame level already, but also the type of videos they create. Like my shorts are not controversial, but of course, when you talk about controversial things or popular stuff, then you can get a lot more views on these. And that's why there is so much leverage behind these short form views, because they're so easy to create at so little time. So that's another type of person who this is for. If you're an agency owner, you can guarantee and include this in your offer and basically charge a lot more, or have an offer in the first place, because this could be your main offer, short form views, measuring and showing the why it's worth it for the client based on the long form views and the sales they can make from it, for example. And then the third type of person, which are basically entrepreneurs with a side hustle, or just entrepreneurs who are focused on faceless YouTube shorts or Instagram team pages, who want to spend, for example, the time that my employee spends, around 8 hours a week, to get 100 million views per month. And why do I say this and not the amount of views that I get? Well, there's a big difference between using it for your own personal brand, which in my case is very small. As of today, only 8,000 subscribers on YouTube, roughly a combined maybe 10,000 across the different channels. But you get the point, very little. But when you are posting faceless videos about popular people or popular topics, well, then you can easily get results like these, because these are not fancy videos. You can check this channel out yourself, and also this channel here, only 63 videos, but they get sometimes maybe 1 million views, sometimes only 10,000. But you see the point. There is now a lot of views per only one short you get. Instead of 500 on these famous people, you can now get outliers, which is why this system could be very, very worth at least experimenting with. As you can see, it's very common for these type of accounts to get those type of views. Of course, if you pick the right input, which mentioned now a lot of times, but it's very easy. Just copy paste the link. I will show you later in the tool how easy it is. Copy paste the link into the long form link, like the podcast link. It spits out 15, 20, sometimes more clips per long form video. Make sure you have a template set for the captions. There's very minimal work to be done. You download it, you post it on the bigger social platforms. I don't recommend Pinterest. I like to test things, so I still post it there, at least for the time being. But Snapchat is a big one still, and then TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts. But you can also post on LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, and try that out to really get the maximum leverage, because those platforms, it's really easy to post, right? By the way, before I forget, in this system I also show how my employee gets safe access to my social media accounts, which I had to figure out for myself how to really do that also on phone, right? How to delegate access to your social media accounts. I've tried researching everywhere how to do that in a safe way, so my IP address doesn't change to a weird country, or I say weird, but these platforms, they don't like seeing different countries, right? IP changes very often. And of course, now your content can get shown, and I've tracked this. It actually now shows your content to that IP address country, right? So if my employee, in my case, are from the Philippines, when they log into my accounts on their own device, on their own laptop, now the content for most platforms, I've seen it being pushed out to the Philippines, which I don't want. Maybe you want that, then it's actually a good thing, but I don't want that. And I figure out a way how to avoid that, which is not difficult now I know, but it's something I share there as well. Again, it's all free. But yeah, that is something that this system is also for someone that wants to earn at least $2,000 per month in AdSense, because that's what you get when you get these amount of views and you run these type of channels. So now let me actually show you more of the details behind the scenes. So again, you get this SOP, very detailed, step-by-step instructions, even video instructions and so on from me, that you can delegate right away to your employee. I say right away, but I also include a simple document where you can go through and see which parts to customize in the SOP, so you can delegate it like in a few minutes and not having to check the whole SOP. Of course you can, and I recommend it. Like, don't trust me right away, but I'm very detailed with this stuff, and I make sure I include everything, so you get very little questions from your employee, because it's of course what I care about. I don't want my employee to ask me questions, so especially not yours, when I share this system. Anyways, that's what you get the SOP, and then also a document how you can customize the things if you're not using it yourself, of course, because if you use the SOP yourself, because you do the posting, you do the clipping yourself and the analytics tracking, of course, then you need to go through the SOP yourself and do it daily or weekly, however often you want to do this. You also get the template Google Sheet, right? So what does this include? As you can see, there are currently these tabs, right? I keep updating the system, and I share when there's updates, so you can have the newest version, or the things in, like maybe a question that my employee asked, that I now add into the SOP as well, that you can now copy paste or point your SOP to your employee towards and say, hey, please read this, or not. Of course, like this works. Everything that is there already works. It's just getting better. Anyways, there's an input tab, which I like just for what videos did we put into the system, like what are the long form videos where we got clips from. It's the least special one. The main tab is definitely a throughput one. I like to look at this as a machine. That's why I call it input throughput. And then basically everything here in the red area is the output. So that's basically the data, the views that we get, and they're being scraped. I show you inside the SOP, or your employee, I should say, probably, how this works, how you can almost, like there's a 100% automated way that I can show as well. But there's the one that I use is free, and I prefer free, especially in my case. It's just a lower cost, the better, and the quicker the better. But of course there's a 100% automated way. It costs $95 per month to get it 100% automated, and with that I mean the data analytics that come in there, like the views you get on each video basically. Anyways, what are the most important aspects in this sheet? As you can see, I've blurred all of my data out just to get you curious. Now, I like to blur myself out. Just some formulas that are useful that I like to see, to look at the data. I like to analyze patterns. If I keep seeing a certain type of word count range getting a lot of views, I just like to look at the data, right? So that's why I include those as well. Also a way to really easily copy paste the file name for my employee when she's finished with the editing in the tool that does the clipping. So you can copy paste and we get a system that is very organized. The file names are there in Google Drive in my case. I maybe use Dropbox, but at least the file names are now very clear in a similar format that I like. Then also the caption style we use again for those A/B testing, so I can see, okay, which caption styles. Like if I see outlier videos, in my case there will be 10,000 views, but maybe like in your case it could be 1 million views instead of the average, of which is much lower then. And I see every time that happens, or I see a pattern where most of the times is a certain caption style. Well, of course, I'm going to try to use that caption style more and see if that pattern repeats itself. Then hook title, which is basically in the first few seconds you show a title, right, in the middle usually. I will show you how that looks like in a bit, but video duration also for patterns. Then a link to the tool and inside the editor, so I can make changes, or especially my employee can make changes to the video if it's not right, or if maybe she missed something, right, just for internal reasons also. Because if one video performed well, for example, then we can go into this link and we can re-edit the video with different captions and post it on, let's say, another sub account, right, or another batch of sub account, and get a lot more views in a very low effort way that way. Or maybe with different music, with trending music, right? So you get the point. It's really easy then to re-edit the thing. Then of course the date when it posted, in my case, my employee is from the Philippines, so it's easy to keep that in her time zone, so she know, okay, today is today and not 7 hours difference, for example. And then of course the links to the different accounts. Again, I definitely recommend checking the SOP, so you know, like the safe way how to do this, not so your employee might steal your accounts, but so definitely that your videos don't get pushed out to country, usually third world countries, where you don't usually want to have an audience from, because they're less likely to buy whatever you have to offer, right? Maybe right now or in the future. Then in this case, I post on LinkedIn, at least for the time being. So is there a link in the Pinterest or not? And if there is, of course, then I can see, does it affect views or not? I like to look at that data. And then of course, Snapchat as well. Snapchat is actually a great platform to post on. I'm not sure about the quality of the audience, but the views are there. With simple videos, I have gotten like 10, 15, 100,000 views. Very simple, short video clips of my tweets, for example, or things I say, quotes, and so on. Time spent is really important one, like how much time do you or your employee spends on this? Tracking that is, I think, really important, so you can see what is worth it, what can you remove from the system. And I will share my insights there as well, inside the SOP in the instructions there. Then of course, which accounts do you actually upload it to? In my case, what I do is I have 2 different types of long form video formats, like categories. Some are like these, where I talk about YouTube marketing and related stuff, but also I have a philosophy side, because that's what I'm interested in. And those are being pushed on different sub accounts. Again, to what I said earlier in this video, to avoid unpriming my channel, basically. Still keep a niche audience and make sure that my next shorts are more likely to get more views, simply because they're around the same topic. And in your case, you could create many accounts, right? You can have 5 employees working on this system. And to be honest, and that's why I've created this system for myself, I think guys like Logan, I have a lot of respect for the guy. I've watched a lot of his videos, but I think there's a lot of bloat in their companies. I think it can definitely improve and make this an overall much more efficient system, which just less costs. Anyways, here you also have either manual data input, right? You can do it manually. For example, when for Snapchat, you want to do it, there's an automated way, but when you get less than, I believe, 1,000 views on your Snapchat videos, then it doesn't allow for scraping, and they don't have an API, I believe. So anyways, you have to do that one manually. You also get less than 1,000 views. on Snapchat and you want to track the data, but that's really easy, right? My employee, when she posts on Snapchat, she also quickly adds in the views that from the day of yesterday and 2 days ago, unless the video is still being pushed out by the algorithm and all of that stuff I explained in the SOP. So anyways, yeah, that is good stuff. And here, of course, we have the automated way. And in my case, 80% automated. You can also decide for the 100% automated option, which just costs more money, but that could be definitely worth it if you get a lot of views, right? And you make a lot of money from the system. And then here you can of course keep track of the total views you get, it just depended on how many batches you do. In my case, again, I only hit the minimum amount of views, at least for now. I don't have any outliers yet. With that I mean just 10,000 views instead of the guaranteed of around 400 or 500. And of course then it blows up when you get outlier. So yeah, this is just the minimum based on the amount of batches that we currently produce, which again takes my employee around 10 hours per week. Then here I just showed an image about the files, which are really easy to import export, which is the 80% automated way. But there is a really automated way that does it on schedule with make.com and so on. Well, what does it do? Of course, it gets around 15 to 20 clips, as you can see in here. For this long form video of mine, which was only 6 minutes, it managed to get out 20 clips. Are they all good? No. The SOP, you can also, you want to of course guide someone that does it for you to pick out the best clips. You can do that. I decided to basically post almost anything just to let the data speak for itself. But you can definitely make sure you guide and share, okay, only pick the best clips or only about this, right? Because not all the clips that it gets from the long form video are good. There's just so much stuff in the tool that you can edit. As you can see in here, I added a lot of custom captions. Love my drawing skills, but you get the point. A lot of custom caption styles based on the ones that they add in there. I love Sarah, right? But I also, there's just a lot of good stuff in here. And you can easily customize those caption styles. So they look like this, for example. But you can also use the already good ones, which already look very similar. You have a lot of options, basically everything my employee needs, so she doesn't need to go on CapCut and change things, which is very good. And my videos are definitely not easy to edit in these web browsing tools, but it is doing everything we need to, which in my case I often have split screen style videos, as you can see in here, and we can easily edit those inside the tool. Sometimes not always possible, right? So you get something like this, but most of the times this is possible, which is awesome. But it has all of those options. You can basically trim the video, remove stuff if it doesn't do a good job. But so far all of the parts has been very good for us. B-roll, I don't like the B-roll feature. I just don't like B-roll in general, but again, they have that. Then you can of course add rand assets, add a cover image, so it uploads for example YouTube Shorts with a thumbnail already. Of course I always like to add music. I think it adds for those short type of videos, and I don't care about the AdSense on my little views that I get, so I copyright songs there. And then in here they have different options to change the layout of the screen. And of course they also have a lot more options where you of course trim out the captions and so on. I have to say I'm being sponsored by this specific tool. This video is sponsored by them, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't mention this tool if they were not sponsoring this video. So whether you use the tool or not, maybe you want to do the manual cutting, which definitely can happen. I mean, like if you look at Daniel Dahlen, for example, his editors do this manually. But as you can see with this account, but also with Iman Gatsi, like his editors are doing this, and he spends like $1,500 per month on his short form editors. At least that's what I've heard, and that's just way too expensive, right? This tool is just very inexpensive when you compare that to full-time editor costs. And I made a lot of mistakes there because I was asking my editor to make shorts, and you can see them on some of my channels. My editor actually did that, and of course he gets paid hourly rate, and it's just much more expensive than the tool or any tool, right, that you use that does this automatically. And I really like the tool. Let me dive into what are the total costs for this. All of the input basically, also your own hours, but definitely if you outsource, what are the costs? Well, employee costs, that's a big one, right? In my case, I delegate this again. If you do this yourself, then those are not costs, but then the time it takes you is also a cost. So in this case, if you pay your employee, let's say $5 per hour because you'll hire overseas, then and you let that you hire that person full-time 40 hours a week, which is 160 hours a month roughly, then you pay around $800 per month. If you use Submagic, the tool that I showed you, and you use my discount code, which gives you 10% discount, and you pick their plan with unlimited clips, right? It's an extra feature. I will show you where to find it. I believe, yeah, it's under here. At least that's where it is currently. Maybe they changed that. But then you would be around $58 per month. If you pay monthly, of course, for some tools, especially after you've tried it, you can switch to annual payments, and it's only $35. They have cheaper plans as well, but I definitely recommend the one that costs $58 per month-ish. Again, it's even cheaper if you use the 10% discount code, which is this code, by the way. You will also find it below somewhere. Then what does the social media analytics scraper cost? Well, the one that I use, which is 80% automated and the rest of the work is done by my employee, that is free. But then there's also like one where you need certain tools and you need to pay for those tools, and then it's 100% automated and scheduled, and then it costs you around $59.59 per month if you prefer that. And then of course everything that I've showed you, like the SOP, the instructions on how you can customize this SOP quickly, like which areas, which parts are important to read through, which part important to change, which things are important to decide, like which decisions have you to quickly make, like what are these few things, so you can hand off that system right away to your employee or quickly. Just less time that I've spent on this, because I've spent hours and hours on this before I could delegate it. And I had to think a lot about the system as well, because it didn't came out of nowhere, right? Also about the accounts creation and delegating it in a safe way. Again, I've talked about it, but again, it's all for free. I will show you how you can access it for free. And then this system basically runs you around $858 per month if you decide to hire someone full-time or delegate it to someone in your team. But that is all dependent, right? You can hire more people. You can also, in my case, only delegate it for around 10 hours a week, which is also a great place to start with, I think. Then what is the next part? Well, what do you get in return for, in this example, the $858 per month? Well, you get roughly 320 batches per month, which corresponds with around 1920 posts per month. Of course, this depends on how fast your employee is, but this is just based on my experience. It's a very accurate number. And what do I mean with a batch? Well, in this case, in my case, I also post on Pinterest, but one batch is one short, one clip, like the same video, posted across 5 different platforms: YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Snapchat, Facebook, TikTok, and then in my case also Pinterest. But you can also post on Threads, X, Twitter, and LinkedIn. All right, so that is one batch. And then in my case, if your batches get around 10,000 views, right? So maybe that is YouTube Shorts, that's on 500 views, Instagram Reels 200 views, Snapchat 200 views, right? You get the point. Then around 1,000 views, which is definitely guaranteed. As I showed you, well, it's a little bit less for me and probably for you as well if you're in my in same situation as me. But that will be around 320,000 views per month. And of course, if you double that and you get 10,000 views per batch, which would be someone like Ty Lopez, even he could get a lot more views, but I'm here on the more conservative side based on what I've seen on his sub accounts, because he has those as well. Then you would get, let's say, 5,000 views per YouTube short and 5,000 per Instagram view, right? In total, for those accounts that you post on different platforms, you get around 10,000 views per batch. Then you would get more than 3 million views per month guaranteed if you just run this system. And then, of course, you get to the next league, which is 100,000 views per batch, which is someone like Denko, who I think it's a no-brainer for him to test this out, at least, to just hire someone who does this at least maybe for a month, but hopefully he doesn't then fire that person right away. So, but yeah, you get the point, right? For someone like him and his audience size, 100,000 views per batch, right? For example, 75,000 views per YouTube short and then 25 on Instagram, then you would get already 32 million views per month from short form for only 850. Now then becomes very, very interesting. Of course, you want to track stuff, but for that amount of views, 32 million views per month, like in my head, it wouldn't make sense to not do this, right? Because a lot of those people will become aware of your face. Well, if you talk about bad stuff, it's not good, but usually that's not the case. And you get known, hopefully, for the right things. And people will search you. They will watch your long-form videos, which is why Imangatsi exploded. And someone like him, as you can see from his account, just look it up. I also showed you the images already. He can easily get, and he does get, 750,000 views per short. Of course, when you look over it on an average basis, and 250,000 views per Instagram reel, including the outliers, right? The ones that also get 6 million views. So then on average, getting 1 million views per batch is possible. If he, in his case, if he posts on the large sub accounts that he already has, right? So there's new ones there, but then he would get 320 million views per month. These are just examples. Hopefully just gave you some idea on when and for who this system is interesting. I think it's worth trying for most people, if not everyone who's a serious entrepreneur or creator. And again, I don't recommend sharing this with your editor and letting him do, or her do all of the work and all of the editing. I've done that. It's just not cost effective. So I would use Submagic. They are sponsoring this video, but to get the SOP and my system, like everything that I talked about, the Google Sheet, if you want that for free, then if you want to pay for it, that's also fine. But if you want to have it for free, then I give it away only if you use my affiliate link, discount code for Submagic. You subscribe to the tool and you share some sort of proof that you have paid for the tool to me, to my email. I will show you which email over here. Just email your receipt to this email, then I will reply. Send me your invoice. You can blur out stuff, that is fine. Of course, don't blur out the important stuff, so I can actually verify that you paid for the tool. And then I will share access to the system, the SOP itself, the Google Sheet, but also the customizational parts that you want to change, so you can delegate it ASAP. And start trying this out, right? Because that is really important to see for yourself if this is interesting and worth keep doing. As you can see, you get a 10% discount, which is another, I think, great thing as well. Again, use the link below, then use my discount code. Then I can verify if you actually came in as an affiliate, and then I get very little money from that, but that's fine. I'm willing to give away my stuff then, and so you can start using this system. And as you can see, these are the current packages they have, right? This is with an annual discount in dollars. It's even more cheap, but I recommend the professional plan. You have everything you need, and then you have unlimited clips as well. You can change the captions and so on. You can also go for the more expensive plan. I wouldn't recommend the starter plan because you can't change as much. But yeah, you want to add the magic clips because that's basically how you get those unlimited clips for short form. They also have other options. As you can see, you can also get captions on your long form and stuff in long form editor, but that's not what I need. So my editor does that. So yeah, this would probably be rough pricing in euros, right? $34. If you go for the more expensive plan, it will be around this. So if you want all of that for free, again, use my discount code or not. Yeah, you can also try this yourself. You now know most of the high level stuff, right? And I think the best way to find out if this is worth it to you, like all of these views, they seem like a lot, but do they actually convert into something that is important? Either AdSense revenue directly from YouTube Shorts or Instagram theme pages where you can sell sponsors on the back end, right? Promos, or even your long form views, or just awareness if you're really big personal brand. If that is worth it, well, the best way to find out is by testing it yourself, and that's what I recommend. Hope you like that. All right, let's get back to the final part. Anyways, if you like this kind of advanced stuff, then here is another advanced thing that few people, I think, know about in order to get more views, which is that your session watch time matters a lot. It's not a metric YouTube shows anywhere, at least so far anywhere in their YouTube studio, but the algorithm seems to care about it. In fact, they care about it a lot, and Iman Gadzhi used it in a very clever way. Well, what does it mean? How can you improve it? How does Iman Gadzhi use it to grow to 5 million subscribers? Because yes, that has been the biggest thing, or one of the biggest, highest leverage things that he has done, in my opinion. Well, I share everything about it and 7 other useful tips in this video. Watch it here or not. Talk soon.